If you don't got 100 million for me, don't even talk to me about it. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear. Basically, let me translate, because we know Crawford don't like to do too much trash.
I'll go from here, Henry.
He needs to rematch. If I'm Canelo, I want to rematch Terence Crawford. He got schooled, bro. He got outboxed dude by Terence Crawford. And I know that he's itching to get that one back. The first time he fought Triple G, and he came back the second time, and he legit beat Triple G.
Once in a lifetime fight. It doesn't need to be a rematch. I think Bud would do worse the next fight. He would put it on Canelo a little worse than that, because that style of fight, I don't think he beats someone like Terence Crawford. But if I'm Terence Crawford, of course I'll fight him again. But this time, I'm the A side. I think Terence Crawford is going to be more confident next time, knowing that I can punch with this guy. I can take his shot. I'm faster.
He fought Canelo Álvarez.
Yeah.
He didn't do what the last two did, just run. He threw at him. I'm going to call your bluff, bro. I'm going to fight you.
You probably won't believe this, but Terence Crawford has officially agreed to a second fight with Canelo Álvarez. There's just one catch, and it's already caught promoters off guard, frustrated fans, and left Turkey Alashik in a very difficult position. This single demand is so extreme that it could actually flip the outcome of the entire rematch. After weeks of rumors, behind-the-scenes talks, and reports coming out of Mexican media, the rematch that most people assumed was dead is suddenly back on the table. But Crawford is refusing to step into the ring unless the deal reaches a financial level that most fighters will never even come close to in their entire careers. Let's break down exactly what's happening. According to multiple sources and a TV segment that's now gone viral, Canelo Álvarez has told his team that he genuinely wants to face Crawford again in 2026. His motivation is clear. He wants revenge. He wants to reclaim his titles and leave behind what he considers the worst loss of his professional career. When Crawford got wind of this, he fired back with a single statement that sent shockwaves across the boxing world. His response? I need $100 million to make it happen. Not $60 million, not $80 million, a full $100 million, non-negotiable. His trainer, Bernie, confirmed the demand was real, and Crawford himself backed it up. Now the ball is in Turkey Alashik's court. He has to decide whether he's willing to write a 10-figure check for a rematch that many people didn't even find exciting the first time around.
Terence Crawford is Terence Crawford is demanding Turkey Alashik to give him $100 million in order for the Canelo rematch to go down. Now, there is a rematch clause going on between Canelo and Crawford. Obviously, everybody knows that, but if he's not going to get the $100 million, that I'm going to be honest with you, I think he truly deserves $100 million for everything that he has gone through in the sport of boxing. The $100 million, number one. But if he doesn't get it, all he has to do is just wait out the contract. There's terms in the contract. Now, in regards to terms, we don't know what the terms hold. I don't know, the 6 months, a year, whatever the case may be. And if not, if they don't come up with an agreement to fight and Crawford doesn't get $100 million, if Canelo then decides not to fight him and decides to go somewhere else, then the contract is voided out. It's completely over and done with. And Crawford just can go about his business. But Crawford, stay on the $100 million. And on top of that, the fight should be in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm telling you, $100 million. And the fight should be in Omaha, Nebraska. Let me know in the comments what you think, y'all.
Nobody's throwing insults here. This isn't rumor or speculation. It's simply what had to happen. A lot of people seem to forget that Crawford already defeated Canelo in dominant fashion. It was a win that sparked zero controversy and a verdict that everyone accepted without argument. Crawford didn't just beat him. He completely outclassed him. He made the face of boxing look slow, stiff, and lost in the ring. He achieved all of this by moving up through weight classes and becoming the very first fighter in the four-belt era to go undefeated across 3 different divisions. Let's be clear, Canelo lost that fight. The victor was Crawford. Plain and simple.
His power, have you been hit by anybody that strong before?
I've been hit harder.
No, in a real fight, not a sparring.
In a real fight. Not Avanesian, but Mean Machine hit harder than Canelo, to me. To be honest.
Congratulations.
In Crawford's view, a second fight isn't necessary. He's got nothing left to prove. His place in history is already secured.
Before the fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. Go. Greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches. Not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists, everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
On one side, Crawford is demanding a massive payday. On the other, Canelo is looking to restore his reputation. That price tag? $100 million. No markdowns, no friendly bargains, and no special rate for the sake of legacy. Crawford is simply asking for what he believes his efforts are truly valued at. And honestly, he's not embarrassed to name his figure in an era where Jake Paul is pulling in huge amounts of money.
Double fake to your left. Double fake to your right. Double fake to your left.
No, top. Put your hand on your heart now, top.
Step back, rhythm. Step back, rhythm. Rhythm, y'all.
Still got some abs.
Double fake, double fake. Double fake.
Turki Alashika's role goes far beyond just promoting events. At this moment, he stands as the single most influential figure in the entire sport of boxing. On his own, he revived the heavyweight division. He also merged different styles of marketing that never used to work together. With his financial resources, authority, and smart planning, he can turn matchups that were once unthinkable into reality. And deep down, he understands that a rematch like this would capture worldwide attention on a massive scale.
This fight will not happen if we are not involved. As Gia, Riyadh season, Saudi Arabia, this is truth. Because even with what the relationship with Netflix, and we are very happy about it, still this fight costs more and more.
Canelo is hungry to settle the score. The people of Mexico want the same. Meanwhile, Crawford is chasing a payout large enough to last him a lifetime. Turkey stands as the only promoter on the planet willing to sign off on a 10-figure sum. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. According to those who attended the first matchup, it simply lacked the kind of thrill needed to justify that price for a second outing. Critics described the original fight as intelligent, highly technical, and ultimately dull, not the kind of action fans were hoping for. Audiences expected a war. What they got was a chess match. And that's precisely where the real danger begins.
Confusion online about why you gave them belts back. People really think you got them belts and you were supposed to keep them and you gave them back. Belts is like a trophy, so of course, after the fight, we get the belts. We get to take pictures with the belts, but them his personal belts. I'm gonna get my own personal belts. Well, we got to return the belts. So the respect that I have for him, just like I have for Spence, just like I have for any other champ that I took their belts from, I personally wanted to give the belts back to Canelo. That's a sign of respect. So, I'm looking for him. I'm like, hey, where Canelo at? They like, oh, he in the press conference. They didn't want to let me in at first because they thought that we was trying to, be on bullshit or whatever the case may be. So I like, hey, man, open the door, man. I'm trying to give him his belts back. Like, I can come by myself because, I was with everybody and they was just like, all right, we don't want y'all trying to come in here and bombard his press. I said, I'll wait, Like, it's all respect, and I just, told him, thank you again, This is like a sign of respect. I want to be the one to give you your belts back because, you didn't have to fight me, and it's just, a sign of respect.
That's one thing I've always respected about you, bro, is like, you are a competitor, but when you win, you don't disrespect nobody. You don't try to, drag nobody through the mud. Like the same thing with Spence, all the talk that was had and all the stuff that was said, not just from him, but just fan bases. You could have easily did that, and been like, I told y'all, and you did do that, but it wasn't in a disrespectful way. And you probably could have celebrated more and you didn't, bro. So I respect that about you. You know when to be a competitor and when to be a man and say, I've done enough.
Let's face it, plenty of viewers and analysts believe a second bout is completely unnecessary. Crawford has already solved the puzzle that is Canelo. He's already walked away with the titles, and his legacy was cemented long before any talk of a rematch.
If they have a rematch clause, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of wording, because Canelo doesn't enter a fight without some kind of wording in terms of rematch clause. But he's just not going to beat Terence Crawford. It's the style's all wrong for him, the movement's all wrong for him. And that's what I said. You know, going into the fight, I really believed Crawford would win in the style that he did. And then just as it got a bit closer at the weigh-in, I was like, my heart was like, nah, Canelo's got this, you know. And but deep down, I kind of knew that it was all wrong for him. And to be honest with you, Canelo knew it was all wrong for him. You know, I had the conversation with Canelo Álvarez probably, I don't know, a year ago, about Terence Crawford. And he was like, no, why would I fight Terence Crawford? Like, you know, he hates that style. And when he fought Charlo, I remember him being really disappointed that Charlo just moved and moved and moved. And that's why he ended up fighting Munguia and Berlanga, because they're guys that wouldn't do that and they'd stand in front of him. And that suits him down to the ground. Anyone that's got movement like Skull, like Crawford, like, you know, he really struggles against. And when he was a bit younger and fresher, he could probably get away with it and cut it off. And, you know, but then you see guys like Bivol and, you know, Crawford and these guys beat him because of that movement. And I don't know what he does again. I mean, you know, the biggest money fight out there for him is the rematch with Crawford.
What matters most is this. Canelo gave no indication whatsoever that he could turn things around in a rematch. His size advantage made no difference. His punching power wasn't a factor. His experience didn't come into play. The simple truth is that Crawford was simply the superior fighter that night.
You know what? Sometimes you try and your body cannot go, right? That's my frustration. Maybe I can figure out Crawford, but my body cannot go anymore. So I try it, but my body just no let me.
Have you ever experienced that moment when you're putting in the effort, but your own body simply refuses to cooperate? That's what really gets under my skin. I could probably master the technique, but physically, I just couldn't keep up any longer.
Because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford.
Won't follow through.
And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to.
So here's the simple question that promoters are now asking themselves. If the first matchup lacked excitement, and a second one might turn out exactly the same, why gamble $100 million on it? Crawford doesn't exactly have a reputation for engaging in all-out wars, and he's already 38 years old. That makes the situation even more telling. The price tag is simply enormous.
I think I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford, because Crawford, you know, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't give up. Keep going until you hit him.
And this is where things finally get interesting. Throughout his entire career, Canelo has built his name on being the sport's leading star. The guy who accepts every major challenge. The fighter who rises to the occasion in big bouts and controls entire weight classes, until Crawford came along and disrupted all of that. That loss damaged both his reputation and his resume. For the first time, Canelo looked ordinary rather than legendary. He appeared human. He seemed vulnerable, sluggish, and beatable, something no one had ever really seen from him before.
I beat this guy, his excuse, I beat this guy, you know, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really going to give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. You know, we really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, you know. And the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. And I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, you know. So I just think, you know, when you that much better than the competition, you know, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, that dude was good.
Canelo has admitted to those close to him that he simply cannot accept the idea of Crawford being the final mark on his professional record. According to inside sources, he's determined to correct his past errors. He wants to reclaim his titles and prove to the world that he's still capable of defeating elite competition. The man is genuinely driven right now.
Crawford took it way more serious than Canelo, which is kind of weird because, you know, the amount of money that Canelo was making. And I know all these people say, oh, yeah, you know, talking shit about Canelo. I'm not talking shit about him. He just didn't look like he really prepared 100%. He's throwing 10 punches around. Or I think it was his ego is that big that he thought that, oh, I'm just going to walk through him, catch him with a good shot, and it's going to be done. As you can see, Crawford is a different type of fighter. Not only has he had the boxing IQ, he has that dog in him. He was in there. He was brawling with Canelo like in the 8th, 9th, getting the best out of him. Boxing, he's epitome of a great boxer. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in that fight. You know what I mean? If you really want to make something come true and you really believe it, you can make it come true. And then the other lesson is don't let your ego get the best out of you, and don't think that you don't have to prepare because you're a bigger fighter. You know what I mean? That shit will bite you in the ass.
But does that price tag of $100 million truly make sense? Crawford is no longer the hungry fighter trying to prove himself. He's already collected every major award, accomplishment, and championship available. There's nothing left for him to demonstrate inside the ring. He has plenty of other options on the table. Think about names like Jaron Ennis, David Benavidez, or even Janibek Alimkanieli. All still champions at middleweight, even if some are inactive. Would Crawford consider dropping back down to 154 pounds to face Jermall Charlo, the very man who helped prepare Canelo for their first fight? His answer has been clear. No, he won't go back to 154. Crawford could walk away from boxing tomorrow without losing any sleep. But this potential rematch with Canelo represents both his final career payday and the largest check he'll ever sign.
First of all, congratulations to Crawford. That was beautiful. You know, that was a beautiful performance. But leading into the fight, I just thought the weight difference. Canelo's been active. He was inactive. I knew it would be close, but I thought Canelo would just be a little bit stronger. And you will see the difference in the punches. Just like I thought he would back him up a little bit. But Crawford did a good job of just using that jab, putting his punches together and using his angles. I think that was the most important. I think that's what he did the best. I feel like, easy to say, but I feel like if Canelo would have used his jab a little bit, it would have made it. It would have been. I think he would have did it way better. I feel like he was just loading up too much. I feel like if he just used his jab a little bit more and just try to put his punches together without power, he's a natural puncher, he would have did a lot better. But he was loading up, so Crawford was just blocking it and coming back for 3 soft touches. It looked like he wasn't even putting on behind it. He was just touching him the whole fight, and he just boxed him. It was just a beautiful performance.
For Canelo, this is all about legacy. For Crawford, it's strictly business. And when legacy and money collide, things get complicated. Now here's what people are really thinking but won't say out loud. The public isn't clamoring for a rematch. Crawford had way too much clean control in the first fight. There was no controversial decision, no brawl, no heated rivalry, no major spectacle. Casual viewers found the matchup dull. Even hardcore fans who fully appreciate the technical skill on display will admit that it wasn't exactly thrilling to watch.
He looked good. He looked good. He looked strong. He carried the weight well. I mean, he looked good. Can't say nothing bad about it.
Were you a little bit shocked about, how he beat him? Were you a little bit shocked how he beat him? Even because he went up 3 weight classes. Were you just surprised?
Nah, I wasn't shocked. Cause Canelo's not a big guy anyway. Canelo got it. Just started at 47 and came up to 168. So, I mean, I feel like Crawford, he walks around probably 169, 170-ish or whatever. So I feel like it was kind of easy for him to make the weight, and he looked good. He handled it well.
Errol, question for you. After that fight, there was a lot of talk about Crawford's place in boxing history. You think he's now, after that win, considered a GOAT or all-time great?
He is one of the greats, sure.
But Canelo also has to confront an uncomfortable reality. Crawford is older than expected, smarter than expected, and still more determined than anyone anticipated. And for quite some time now, Canelo hasn't looked like the same unstoppable version of himself. If he loses again, his reputation will take a massive hit. Crawford has already made his final decision, according to inside sources. If the contract guarantees him $100 million, he will accept the rematch. There will be no more talks, no fallback plan, and no middle ground. His camp's message is simple: pay the man his worth or walk away. And believe it or not, people close to him say he's genuinely considering hanging up his gloves for good if the deal falls through. Right now, the ball is firmly in Turkey's court. Canelo wants this fight badly. The real question is, at what price does Crawford want it? The boxing world remains divided. But one thing we can say for sure, Crawford's tough demands must be met for this rematch to become a reality. If Turkey writes that check, the fight will go down as one of the highest stakes gambles in boxing history. What do you think, fans? Is Crawford truly worth $100 million? Should Turkey approve this rematch? Will Canelo get his revenge? Or will he lose even worse the second time around? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Fight Field and give this video a like. I'll catch you in the next one.